Hello. We're going to let some people join. I got to go grab one thing. I'll be right back. Hi. Okay. I guess I'm on time, but I think I'm a little early. I got to share this around. Please talk amongst yourselves. Okay, how do we do this? I'm live streaming through YouTube for the first time. So this is different. Pardon me. While, oh shoot, I get this shared and I probably look like a fool while I do it. Now I gotta text this to myself. How's everyone doing? I don't know what we're gonna talk about tonight. Give me some ideas while I share this on the gram. Hello, Ariel. Hello, Brittany. Hello, Calisoma. Okay, where is that? Ooh, mechanism malfunction. This is something that Human Vibration and I have talked about a great deal. She brought it up for the first time, and it's like one of those things you don't necessarily want to admit to, but damn, do I plan so much shit around my dog. Watch me fuck this up on air. She just feels a little loosey-goosey. Okay. Here we are. All right. Can't believe 47K today. I'm so excited. Almost back to the original OG 53K. Kind of funny. 53, 47. Q always just talk about those numbers, a la the Senate. You know, I'm just so strange with them numbers. If you ever steal my iPad, it would be a very easy get. Okay. Let's just chill here in this, how does the song go? After the party is the after party. Before the party is the before party. It doesn't quite work. Doesn't quite flow off the tongue the same way. This is like my business iPad that I have not converted to Maria stuff. So the little pre-party will continue for the next few minuets while I figure out what we should talk about. Anyways, I don't want to think about a life without my pet, but I also think there is a life without my pet, if that makes sense. I love you, PP. Mama loves you. Ooh, he is not shaking that tail. He is mad at me. And he just flicked his ear at me. They understand so much. So much. I don't know if you follow Bunny the dog on Instagram. She's one of my favorite follows. And God, we're so fucking ghetto here. Hold on. Her mom taught her to speak with the buttons on the floor, which I find fascinating. I'm probably a terrible mother that I never did those for P, because he most definitely could communicate that way. But we talk. He understands me. He's probably the only man that ever will. This, when did this happen? Put my hands away. Maybe last week? Thursday? Wednesday? I got called a psychopath. And that I needed to get professional help. Like I said, Peyton is the only male species to understand me. Pip pop. Wish you guys could see him right now. What a ham. The thing is, normal and crazy are relative terms. What's normal for the spider is chaos for the fly. So people use the term crazy in so many different ways, thinking that it denotes something different pursuant to the context. But then when they want you to, when they want to hit you with it, they call you crazy. And just damn, weren't we crazy not too long ago and you enjoyed that? Anyways, I think crazy is a compliment because, yeah, I don't know, it just is. Not gonna hurt my feelings with it. I know I'm wild. Shit. I just wish somebody would tame it a little bit, Most of the time, I push things. I'm a pusher. One of the judges told me that once. Miss Maria, actual Lauren. Miss. Ooh, damn. I almost fucked myself up there. Miss Maria Laredo. You're a pusher. Push. You push too much. Anyways, I think that's a good quality. But we should move on. Ooh, okay. Robert Drew is just fucking hitting it hard as we're trying to joke about craziness. What are your thoughts on quantum computers? Also, the predictability of humans, just like we shepherd herds. They know the herd's tendencies and can induce whatever chaos they want. Well, my friend, this is a huge topic that I talk about quite often. I'm of the belief that this huge, crazy supercomputer, maybe AGI, artificial intelligence exist. I think it's called Tyler. I think that 9/11 obviously was not about weapons of mass destruction in the Middle East. There's a whole Stargate discussion, but that's a different discussion. Anyways, that 9/11 was really about infiltrating like massive security, like privacy, like pushing the line of privacy so far. The trick that the government does, though, and not just the government, whomever is above the government, they use false flags, they use psyops, and they get you to willingly volunteer certain things, willingly chip away at your rights. So the Fourth Amendment, right to privacy, the 14th Amendment, right to due process, 9/11 took like the police state and just like pushed the line so far so that you felt as though you were a patriot when you were one of those people that were like, I don't fucking care if they profile me at the airport. Like, I'm not a terrorist. I don't care if they listen to my phone calls or read my emails because I'm a patriot and I believe in the United States and we should kill every fucking terrorist. So read my emails, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, all of that to say, it was all about the introduction of them being like privy to your data all the time and you being willing to like acquiesce into that like surveillance state. And so now go back to Tyler. And in Tyler, who was the one that asked this question? Hold on. Where did you go? Where did you go? Robert True. In Tyler, there is a version of you, like matrices upon matrices filled with information about you. And every single amount of data that like you proffer to like all of these apps and the government itself, all of it goes into that version of Robert True. And they can run algorithms, they can run any sort of test imaginable on that data, and they can predict exactly what you're doing on a Monday in December in the year of 2022. You're here, you're listening to this. They would know that. And that's like, if you ever watch, I'm always talking in visuals. That's just my thing. If you ever watch Westworld season 3, you literally see the two different artificial intelligences like battling against each other. And in Jesse Pinkman, his character, it shows this progression of like how the AI shaped every single decision that he made, like to go to the military, to do all these different things. And he literally watched it and you were just like, oh, yeah. Like I have a whole like discussion on free will and whether or not free will even exists in the context of like a soul contract and the simulation and blah, 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 blah. You could have a whole discussion on like God, the creator, free will, all of that just to get to the end of the discussion and decide that you have free will and then literally walk into 2022 with the like context of Westworld season 3 and all of this AI right now. And then it's like, oh, yeah, free will doesn't exist anymore. Even if I thought it existed over here, she gone. I don't know. That season of Westworld, I didn't watch 4 yet, but it fucked me up. It was just like a very nice representation of how everything around us affects us all the time. I had some like trolleys out recently. People saying like everything is a psyop, is a cop out. And if I had $1 for every time I had to explain that like a psyop has no like positive or negative connotation to it, does not denote fakery per se. It's just a psychological operation. And everything is a psychological operation. Whether it's like overt and trying to get you to do something or it's covert and they're trying to like incept some sort of idea into your brain. But Yeah. Yes. To answer whatever question you asked, quantum computers literally predict everything that we could do at any moment of the day. And that's like a lot of time. I haven't done it a lot lately. I used to like hashtag chaos magic a lot and just talk about like order and chaos. So, like, if they can predict exactly what you're doing every single day, then if you were to like go left instead of go right or go to a different gas station, just like literally break your order whatsoever, that would be like like chaos and defying that order and defying that like predictability that they have on you based on the algorithm. I just got a text. Let me look at it. Oh, Janie, I was just gonna go live for the 47. I can invite you. I don't know how to do it on this because my Zoom wouldn't work. But I was going live tonight. I'm sorry. I gotta stop drinking seltzers on air, but they're just so delicious, especially when we are not drinking as much these days. I am drinking a little bit. I will admit that. Okay. So, Robert True, I hope that answered your question. Oh, yeah, Brittany P saying surveillance, like the Facebook quizzes, the Throwback Thursday, Flashback Friday, the 10-year challenge, like everything we do, like the AI, I forget what the thing is called right now. That's like generating pictures, like all of that is sharpening that version of Robert True in Tyler. It's almost like a simulation within a simulation, if you will. Have you guys ever seen that episode of Black Mirror? I'm gonna have to look it up here in a second, where it starts off as like a dating episode, and oh shit, what is it called? Here we go. It's just fascinating. This is going to be a non-traditional podcast, more of like a hangout for the 47K while I look stuff up like this. Dating. Okay, so within this episode, it's called Hang the DJ, season 4, episode 4. And you meet this couple, and they're participating in this dating game where like you each get some sort of like device, watch, and you make the decision when you first meet. You can either like look at it, and if you both look at it at the same time, it tells you like how long your relationship is going to last or how long you have to be in a relationship with this person, or you can just like get to know each other and play it out. And they're trying to like find their one in this episode. And so you start watching it and people are idealistic, and then some people start looking at it and it might be a day, or it might be 2 years, or it might be 10 months, and they meet in the very beginning but it doesn't work. Anyways, they finally come back around. The whole time they're looking at each other like, this is bullshit, we don't want to play this anymore, we want to be together. And they finally like defy everything and come together, and they kind of realize it feels like this game, and they win, and then it dissolves and it like comes back, and you see all these other simulations of them as well, and then you realize that all of this is what was happening within the data, within the test, within the algorithm of a dating app as they both swiped on each other, and it like gave a predictability. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be telling you the plot as I now say all this out loud, but it was crazy, 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 crazy. You have to watch it. Hang the DJ, because I watched that episode and then I'm like, could this be us? Like within one of those algorithms right now? Like I was just saying that like the you and Tyler is like a simulation within a simulation, but like what if that's us right now? Are we becoming self-aware? Bring yourself back online, Dolores. I'm getting way too deep and way too weird. Right? Everyone should go back and rewatch some Black Mirrors. It's just so crazy, even though, like, ugh, some of them are so cringe and, like, make my body hurt thinking about them. I love when I just see that little beautiful double chin I have sometimes. Anyways, okay, as we continue. Somebody said, "Isn't the D-wave computing that's happening at CERN sending messages to a different dimension?" I suppose. I mean, who knows what they're truly doing there? Do you subscribe to the idea that, like, the world ended in 2012 when they found the God particle and the Mayan calendar ended? Maybe we are. I promise this won't be all simulation tonight. All of that to say, perhaps this is just the afterlife, a sim. We could all be sitting on a hard drive somewhere, in somebody's basement. Who knows? Who fluffin' knows? But if you are watching this, like, let's do homework. Watch Hang the DJ season 4, episode 4, and then let's, like, come back here and have a discussion on it because that was some crazy stuff. I was trying to figure out a way. Somebody left me, like, a sweet comment recently and said, like, "I wish I could hang out with you and, like, have a wine night." And I was trying to think, like, how could I effectuate that from afar? And then I was like, maybe we could do, like, a Zoom? Maybe, like, 20 or 25 people? I think 25 is the max, maybe? I don't know. Have a wine night one night? I'm not really drinking wine, but have a little seltzer and hang out. If you're into that, DM me. I feel a little manic tonight. I need to, like, calm down, take a deep breath. Don't have to talk so fast. Anyways, what else? What else? What are the things that I have been researching lately? Oh, okay. We just have to talk about this for, like, straight off the bat. I find it extremely comical, just like every little, like, nook and cranny that they can, like, blame someone dying on, you know? So this came out today on the UK Daily Mail. Man dies following heart attack, possibly triggered by excitement while watching Avatar 2. An Avatar 2, not tartar, an Avatar 2 fan has died after suffering what is suspected to be a quote unquote excitement induced heart attack while watching the movie. How did your dad die? He had an excitement induced heart attack due to Avatar. Like, is this motherfucker gonna be suing James Cameron now? Has anybody seen Avatar yet? It's, like, do we wear 3D glasses again? Isn't it interesting that, like, this came out, I think, in, like, 2009, and James Cameron was, he said at some point, at some time, I don't know when, that, like, "We're gonna make so many more different movies, but, like, it's gonna take at least 10 years before the next one comes out because, like, the technology that I want to use hasn't been invented yet." So, like, what technology is that? And how is it being used? I don't know. That's just, how did you know, James Cameron? How did you know? But it's, again, like, I saw some statistic or, like, a headline of a statistic that said that we, unvaccinated, were more likely to get into a car accident than the vaccinated. What does that even mean? Now that I say that out loud, like, that can't be based on stats at all. Because, like, I recently got into a wreck. Like, a wreck happened and then they slammed into the Bronco. Ain't nobody know about my vaccination status there. So, perhaps I should have, read the entire article. Perhaps I could do that now on my iPad, now that I have it. But upon what, like, variable are they basing that? You know? Like, I was gonna say that somehow they were tying it to, like, some fucking bogus statistic that they made up. But that would have to be hold on, here we go. If you passed on getting the COVID vaccine, you might be a lot more likely to get into a car crash. Or at least those are the findings of a new study published this month in the American Journal of Medicine. During the summer of 2021, Canadian researchers examined the encrypted government-held wait, what? Canadian researchers examined the encrypted government-held records of more than 11 million adults, 16% of whom hadn't received the COVID vaccine. Why are we talking about how Canadian researchers accessed encrypted government-held records? Does the Canadian government hold medical records for the citizens because they fund healthcare? Like, is there some, like I don't wanna sound ignorant. These are just, like, questions in which I don't know the answer. So, I assume that there are private hospitals and shit like that, but, like, do you guys even have HIPAA because all government doctors would have access to your records? So, do you somehow 11 million adults consented to Canadian researchers? I don't know. This just sounds entirely not plausible when I try to consider it like this. They found that the unvaccinated people were 72% more likely to be involved in a severe traffic crash in which at least one person who transported to the hospital in which at least one person was transported to the hospital than those who were vaccinated. This is literally the dumbest fucking thing I've ever read. There are so many other variables that are part of a motor vehicle accident. How fucking dumb. What am I even doing? You know what? This is just a lesson in discernment for us all. And perhaps to read more than a headline. But also, if anyone were to bring that up to you, at least that's like a, as you like talk it out loud, it's just so damn ridiculous. Oh my God, it even gets better. This is so speculative, you guys. Okay, I'm sorry. This is just fun. Let's read articles together. Of course, skipping a COVID vaccine does not mean that someone will get into a car crash. Instead, the authors theorize that people who resist public health recommendations might also neglect basic road safety guidelines. Is this just like some fucking some article somebody wrote and this is insane. Okay. Why would they ignore the rules of the road? Distrust of the government, a belief in freedom, misconceptions of daily risks, faith in natural prediction, apathy toward regulation, poverty, misinformation, a lack of resources, and personal beliefs are potential reasons proposed by the authors. This is just wild. Aaron Prater, I want to write you a letter and tell you how dumb you are and how dumb this is and how dumb this study is. This This is based on no empirical data and the assumption that people like you and me also neglect basic road safety guidelines, which in fact would be a likely assumption, at least on my part, because the rules don't apply to me. Aaron Prater, this is terrible. I'm gonna post this on my stories. Terrible. The worst article I've ever seen. Maybe that should just be my whole shtick now. You know? Who needs any post by me? I will just sit here and break down dumb articles. It's funny the way that the trolleys work sometimes. I was I had this girl that said something today or yesterday. When was it? Like, have you no joy? I'm like, how did you know? All I want is I can't say that. Hold on, what did this bitch say? Oh my god, when do you rest or have any joy in your life? Too much, honestly. Bitch, I know I'm too much. Not enough for the right person. Yeah, I have no joy in my life. You guys bring me joy. And do I ever rest? No, because I'm insane and I don't ever sleep. Somebody else said something like, "Ugh, you only post like terrible things. Like everything is a psyop and everything is so like a negative view on the world." But like what do I post instead? Like my dog? Like a hair routine? A clothing haul? I feel like you guys would make so much fun of me. I don't know. It's just like, dude, one of the things that happens like as you wake up that like reality is shattered in like every which way. And then everything is a psyop and it's like, "Oh, everyone is manipulating me all the time." That's something I said in my stories recently. Like, I know I talk about loosh and I know I use the word loosh sometimes and it people don't like it how often I use it, but your attention is a currency that like everyone wants. Call it attention, call it loosh. There's obviously like what I consider like a whole vibration that comes off your emotion and that's you don't even want to get that deep into it, that's fine, but like your attention is a currency and everyone is vying for that attention. So, don't hate the player. Just hate the damn game, y'all. Just hate the damn game. Brittany, I'm so glad that you like Peyton content. I like Peyton content too. I just don't know the line of what you care about and what you don't care about, you know? You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? But people are crazy. And they're calling me crazy. Come on now. Let me just say, okay, let's rant a little bit. And I would love some feedback on this. Like, Elon is out there exposing the FBI and the government and blah, 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 blah. Okay. Thoughts. I just don't know what it all means from a legal perspective. What I find interesting just in my journey as an individual, we were required to write a seminar paper in law school. And I decided that like we had to take a position on something and blah, 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 blah. I decided at that time, because it was controversial, this would have been sometime between 2010 and 2013. I would have been a 2L or a 3L. I don't know. 2012, 2013, sometime in that time. Obama had come out with the Affordable Care Act, and everyone was attempting to attack it in different ways. One of the ways it was attacked was the Hobby Lobby versus Sebelius court case that went up to the Supreme Court, where Hobby Lobby asserted that through the First Amendment and through what we call the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, that it, as a corporation, had the voice of an individual and objected to the requirement that it have health insurance and provide for abortions, and that violated its First Amendment rights. And so back then, I took the position that it did violate its First Amendment rights through Citizens United and the First Amendment and the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. So I have to do this huge analysis. It's called strict scrutiny analysis, and that's what is applied when there is what the individual might consider a violation of the First Amendment by the government. And so I just find it interesting that like that was part of my arc, and then here we are evaluating things like this. So my question is, okay, we got to back up. I know some of you know this, but for whomever hasn't heard this before, we got to talk about it again. People misuse violations of the First Amendment all the fucking time. Anything prior to the Twitter files as related to social media, there was no connection between one of these social media companies and the government, a direct connection. So the fact that like we were contracting with private companies and being on these private companies' platforms, and then they were choosing to censor us, that was all within the terms and conditions. So for the longest time, this has not been a First Amendment issue, because all the First Amendment does is it protects your speech. It protects the government from infringing upon your speech in a public forum or semi-public forum. That's it. That's all the First Amendment says as relates to speech when you boil it all down. So in some sort of public forum, the government cannot approve one type of speech, one type of thought, one side of the coin, and not allow speech regarding another thought. Similar, analogous, same kind of subject matter. They can do it, though, if it doesn't violate the strict scrutiny test. So strict scrutiny compels to, is it a compelling governmental interest? And was it the least restrictive means of achieving that government interest? For example, if we go back to Hobby Lobby versus Sibelius, Hobby Lobby's position was that, well, let's go back to my position in the seminar paper, that the Affordable Care Act violated the First Amendment and the Religious Freedom Restoration Act because it was infringing on different types of speech in a public forum, and it was not a compelling governmental interest, one, and it was not the least restrictive means possible. So part of my analysis at that time is that like the Affordable Care Act did not apply to nearly like 150 million Americans at that time who could have continued on with the policies that they had and did not have to change. So you have the government attempting to infringe on speech, and what it's attempting to do doesn't even apply to half of the country. That's not a compelling governmental interest. And then the discussion then goes to, was this the least restrictive means of achieving what it wanted to achieve by giving women access to these different types of healthcare? No, this could be achieved in a different means, a much more least restrictive means without violating the First Amendment. Okay, now you've done that analysis one time. Here, though, we have like this third party. We're not in like a true public forum, nor we are in like a true semi-public forum, in my opinion, just because like Twitter is a public forum, but like not everyone is on it per se. Anyways, can somebody make the argument, could I sue the government right now and say that what it did through a government agency, through now a private corporation, was the government attempting to limit speech on one sort of topic? So like, does basically, like, the privity of that, like, we talk about privity of contract, and that's not exactly what I'm saying here, but, like, does that pass through top executive, through the agency, through the private corporation? Is that the limitation of speech in a public forum or a semi-public forum? That's a question for me, and I wonder what will happen. Okay, this is why I don't really care at the end of the day, because all this legal analysis aside, all of these flagrant violations of, not violations per se, but, flagrant, like, request for censorship by a particular administration on subject matter and on individuals. Okay, let's all acknowledge that that happened. What happens next? Going back to a whole nother legal discussion that I have with people quite often is you say, I want to sue McDonald's. And I'm going to say, okay, well, what are your damages? Well, I don't know. I just want to sue them. Or somebody hits you or punches you or says something mean to you or defames you. What are your damages? If you get in a car accident, you have clear damages. So now, in that same kind of context of like, am I going to file a lawsuit because at the end of the day, I don't have any damages? So what am I going to get out of it? We are damaged, but like, what are our damages? And how, like, what is going to happen to the FBI? Like, is there even any argument that the FBI here is the same FBI that was there? Okay. So the FBI did all of this stuff like such a bad boy. What happens? What are the damages? Like, we're not going to be awarded monetary damages. They're going to say, like, we're going to put new leadership in place, and this is never going to happen again. Don't worry, your elections aren't rigged. You know, like, I just like, to what end? Is this shitty? Does this matter? Sure. In like a perfect nutshell, where, like, I guess to me, just like, it's that one meme of like all the Spider-Men in a circle and they're all pointing at each other. Cause everyone's like pointing at each other. Like, this would matter to me, like, if we were in a perfect vacuum where there was like election integrity. And it was just like, oh my God, like, but for this censorship, none of all of these people would have known. And if they would have known, they would have voted. And if they would have voted differently, it would be different. And we have to, this is ridiculous. Can you believe that your government did this? But it's all of that. And then it's still a rigged election. So, like, to me, this is just like more theater, more louche, more like, let's get mad about it. I'm so mad at the FBI. Okay, so what? Like, we create a new FBI? Like, let's dismantle the FBI, but like, let's now create the IBF. I don't know. Like, does it mean anything to anyone? Like, I feel as though this will create a rabbit hole of Senate hearings and testimony, and for years and years to come. It'll just be like, it's not the same as like the Russian talking point, but it will be the same as like oh, the left, you know what they do, blah 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 blah. I don't know. I just the Twitter files are great. The FBI has colluded with the government, but let's pretend like if we were blue and they were red or colors were reversed, like, this has always happened. And probably in like 10 years, they will replay this script and all of the roles will be reversed. I don't know. This is your cynic black pill take of the night. Mechanism malfunction. Have I looked into gematria? How reality is scripted by the numbers. I love, okay, tell me if I'm saying that incorrectly, because I always worry, is it gematria? Is it gematria? Is it gematria? I have said all before, but I think someone told me it's gematria, and I just don't know. I don't know. But, yes, I love gematria. I used to be very, very strange with it. I don't know it in any sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, nobody has taught it to me. I have not read any books on it. I go to gematrix.org, I think it is. Gematrix. Did I do that right? .org? Anyways, gematria is wild and proof, in my opinion, of the artificial intelligence that supports the simulation. Like, the perfect synchronicity of the way that, like, the words and their meanings and the numbers and how they're all interconnected, like, that to me is the, like, evidence of, like, the architects using artificial intelligence to write the story and write the script. And it's also evidence of, like, the perfect synchronicity of it all. Perfect synchronicity. So sometimes I haven't done this in a while, but I would do something like next level gematria, or excuse me, next level synchronicities at times. I spend a great deal of time on the road going back and forth to Knoxville. I kind of always have. And so if I were to experience some sort of synchronicity and I was driving, if I saw it, like, if it brought me to, like, a license plate, then I might take the 3 letters of the license plate and I would put that into the gematria calculator and I would see what the universe is talking to me or how it's talking to me. Now, don't get me wrong, this is completely subjective and you're going to see, like, scroll upon scroll of words and, like, for example, I'll just tell you all my crazy I tell you everything anyways, but, like, sometimes I feel as though the dead people in my life speak to me through synchronicity, not in any sort of, like, clear and methodical way, but just, like, a smile, a wink, a poke. I have, like, a butterfly thing with my grandmother, so when I see butterflies, I think that that's her, and so, like, if I were to see a butterfly perhaps, and it was, like, literally beside a word right here, then I might take that word and put it into the gematria calculator. I might find nothing, I might find something interesting, but after my stepdad died, I used to do that sometimes, and I would see, like, his name would pop up in whatever sort of, like, word or phrase I took and put into the gematria calculator. So, yeah, that's just some next level Maria weirdness, but I haven't messed with it in a while. I would take your full name. I like to play with that and put it into the calculator and see, like, what else has the same gematria as you. Very, very interesting. I feel like I lose my lip gloss so quickly. So quickly. In case anybody asks, which you probably won't, except maybe 5 people, this is Dior Lip Glow Color Reviver Balm in Berry. And I love this. I have this in like 4 colors. I just bought Mahogany, which is brown but does not go on brown. So, to all my makeup ladies out there. Okay, another interesting topic. The winter solstice is upon us. It's what? 2 days away. Today is the 19th for those of you listening in the future. But every house in the United Kingdom is urged to switch off their Christmas lights on December 21st. So when I first saw this, it passed on my desk. I was like, "Oh, here we go. This is a discussion about look, like they're giving us a breadcrumb, prepping us for like dark winter. Like this is the dark winter that Biden talked about last year." And don't get me wrong, like, this literal thought process, like, all happened in, like, a half of a second until I read the next line, but I had thought in this half second, like, "Okay, like, we'll do a post on the grid, maybe it's 10 Days of Darkness, let's talk about this, let's talk about that," and then I continued to read, and it said, "Every household in the United Kingdom is being urged to switch off all of their Christmas lights, like, towards Ukraine for solidarity." Here we go. Ukraine is calling on the United Kingdom to switch off festive lights on the shortest day of the year, this Wednesday, in order to show solidarity with Ukrainians as they face power cuts and constant attacks from the Russians. So I went into this like whole thing about normally, like if this were 20 years ago, we'd be like, call your senator, call your congressman, tell them what you think about this. We understand that that's all fake. Those are fake elections. Those rhinos are not getting out probably until they die. So I went into this tirade about taxes. But it was not until after I posted this and I started looking into the comments that people were like, isn't it interesting that they're asking to turn off the lights on already the shortest day of the year, the winter solstice? Like, that is just casting some sort of spell, you know? I just find like the other day, for example, sometimes you guys will like let me say all the things and then sometimes you guys just like fucking take me down. It's so funny. Like I can make all the 33 connections. I can make all the purple connections, but Trump came out with like those playing cards. And so I'd seen somebody talking about this, how like the stance he was making above him, like there was an argument that it was making the angle of the compass of the Freemason. The angle of the compass of the Freemason is allegedly, oh my gosh, I'm about to sneeze. Have I sneezed for you guys before? This means what timeline we're on. Oh my god. Come on. Oh my god. I normally sneeze 9 times in a row. We're back on number 1 timeline. Okay. Let's go. Anyways, what the fuck was I saying? What was I saying? Somebody help me out. What was I saying? We'll take a break. Correctamundo cards. Okay. So it was the free angle or the angle of the compass of the Freemason is 47. Don't freak out. This is the 47th like K episode. That's my favorite number. I have a love affair with the number 47. Numbers are not inherently good or evil. We always know that. 666 is not inherently satanic. Anyways, I was just making the argument that, like, if this is the angle of the Freemasonry, like, and he's putting his hands up, and it's 47, like, and he wants to be the 47th president, couldn't he be casting this, like, little teeny tiny spell? This little teeny tiny magic that, like, every single little bit counts, you know? Like, if you're trying to hit it and, like, get to the 47th presidency, you gotta cast all the spells. Anyways, a great deal of you told me I was a fucking idiot. So, love you. Mean it. Probably nobody that's watching at this point. All 54 of you. My loves. But, okay, like, I just do want you to observe this with me. And I need you because you guys are my OGs anyways. So when I start posting, like, what you and I might consider, like, elementary content, I need you to hold fast because I do need to educate the noobs. But you guys, like, respond so positively to, like, old content. So I made this, like, 10 post carousel on how, like, true or false, Barack Obama is Barry Soetoro and Michelle Obama is Michael Laverne Robinson. And it's really hard for me lately to like get thousands of likes, and this post has 7,000 likes. I'm so happy. Like, I'm so truly grateful. Do not get me wrong. But like for you and me, that's some like old school content. So now I'm like, damn, I got to start posting some old school content, which is going to feel like you and I like are backtracking a little bit, but I don't want you to think that. I just need you to know that like sometimes you're going to see some of that shit, but then at the same time, I posted it and some of my OGs were like, "Oh, here we are. Some good content again." And then I just want to go fucking slam my face into the wall. Anyways, love you. Mean it. Love you. Mean it. Just realize that you might see some old content and not to get upset. You can always slide into my DMs and tell me what else you might like to see. True or false? Bob Barker is dead on your timeline. That was another exciting post this week. I swear my damn soul that man like rode Price is Right out all the way until the end, and then he died, and then they put Drew Carey in there. That was always my timeline. But it turns out that Mr. Bob Barker, that's what the type of microphone that I wish that I had. Do you guys remember it? Like the like skinny handle, and then just like the little circular top. How does it go? This is Bob Barker. This is your reminder to spay or neuter your pet. I loved The Price is Right. I watched The Price is Right quite often. Quite often. I always felt that I was smarter than them, though, which I think goes without saying. Obviously, what is going on here? Like, I always thought I was going to get it. I'd be within whatever that, like, thing is. And, like, when the person would choose the $1 at the wrong time, and then the next person would go $2. So damn silly. Okay. I saw this 4 days ago, and I just need to bring it up real quick. If you know me, you know that I love with my heart and soul the show Lost. And I'm basically always watching Lost over and over and over again. I've been doing that for the last couple of years. Like, kind of like as I hate these words, ascend, vibrate higher, dig deeper, go inward. The more that I learn, every time I rewatch Lost, it's just like, bing, little things go off. I'm also obsessed with electromagnetism and like energy pockets in the world. Like, I think Lost is very much on to something in that regard. And that's kind of like a soft disclosure predictive programming. Anyways, it was not until this rewatch, and it wasn't even me that said it. I just posted about it randomly because I like to be like weird and mysterious and post Lost stuff as if you guys are like fucking watching with me, which you're not. I know you're not. Anyways, this person goes, "Wow. For the first time, I realized that the Dharma Initiative sounds a lot like DARPA." And it was just like, bing, bong, bing, like all of these thoughts going off in my brain. Of course, the Dharma Initiative is like DARPA. Of course it is. Like, Maria, how could you be so silly until now? Then I gotta rewatch, like in season 5, I gotta rewatch it all again. Anyways, I decided to just like Like, I was posting about it in my stories, and so sometimes on there, I like to just give, like, little bitty bites of information, like, as if I was doing a post, just so, like, you remember, like, what DARPA stands for or something like that. And so I was, like, just looking for information like that on Twitter, and I searched DARPA, and it took me to this tweet from August 28th of 2019, okay? This is from DARPA, which fuck me, what does it stand for again? Hold on. I know it, but I just wanna say it right. The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency is a research and development agency of the United States Department of Defense, responsible for the development of emerging technologies for the military. Sure, Jan. Sure. Anyways, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. Okay, back to it. DARPA, this literal part of the Department of Defense, tweets in August of 2019, attention, attention, city dwellers. We are interested in identifying university owned or commercially managed underground urban tunnels and facilities that are able to host research and experimentation. So sorry for the short notice. We're asking for responses by August 30th at 5 o'clock. So they tweeted this August 28th at 10:30 a.m. and gave 30 hours notice. They wanted city dwellers, people who live in the city. I don't even know what fucking city this is now that I look at it. Come on, Maria. They wanted city dwellers to identify university owned underground urban tunnels and facilities. Why would you not ask the university what it owns underground that is capable of hosting research and experimentation? Additionally, city dwellers, would you be aware of commercially managed underground urban tunnels and facilities able to host research and experimentation? I don't know. This just seems like the weirdest tweet. Oh, I forgot. There's a second tweet. Pardon. Quote, the ideal space would be a human made underground environment spanning several city blocks with complex layout and multiple stories, including atriums, tunnels, and staircases. Spaces that are currently closed off from pedestrians or can be temporarily used for testing are of interest. What? Like, are you fucking kidding me? This doesn't even make sense. Like, the ideal space would be a human made underground environment that spans several city blocks and has a complex layout and multiple stories, including atriums, tunnels, or stairwells that are currently owned by either a university or some sort of commercially managed company. Like, this is just like, is this like, I love the back rooms. Like, this feels like an entrance to the back rooms for me, or that they're like looking for entrances for that to the back rooms for me. I don't know, just wild. I should have posted what city this was, but I just, like, love, like, how casual this was. Like, maybe maybe it doesn't even say a city. Maybe they're just talking about literally any city in the United States because it just says city dwellers. What are you doing down there? Mechanism Malfunction said they have a whole tunnel system for truck drivers. Does that mean over the entire United States? Okay, this is your fun fact of the day of your life. One fun fact that I will never forget. Eisenhower created the interstate system, and on the interstate, every 3 miles, there will be 1 mile that is straight because in times of war, it would allow for the landing of a plane. Put that one in your pipe and smoke it and use it as a fun fact of the day. Did you guys know that the alleged tunnel system, like one of the alleged tunnel systems that exist in the United States, one that like people post on a lot, that if you no wait, is it the tunnel system or the DUMBs? Maybe it's the DUMBs, the deep underground military bases, that if you were to take like a bird's eye view of the United States and then you were to lay like a clear thing that contained the constellations on top of it, that the constellations, like the major points within said constellations, line up with the location of deep underground military bases in the United States. Which then begs like an entire different discussion, obviously on a multitude of levels, but takes me back to the stars never moving and being fixed. I don't know. People get like all bent out of shape about astrology at times, and I find astrology to be fascinating. That's for one thing. As JP Morgan once said, millionaires do not use astrology, but billionaires do. I have a really little clip I could play about that here in a second on my phone. But I don't necessarily get bogged into like the stars and this and that and the other. What if astrology is just like a manner in which they like it's an expression of like your code in the simulation. And so if this is a simulation and there's a code behind everything, there would be a code behind you and a code behind me, and there would only be so many variables, you know? So like certain variables would share and would mean something, and astrology helps explain that. And then what if it just continues on to explain like everything is a pattern, everything is built on a loop? If you were to read the book, the four stages, something you guys all should read. I can't believe I'm messing it up right now. Come on. No, it's not the 4 agreements. I might have to go get it here in a second. It's like right in there. Anyways, I just wonder if astrology is just a representation of the way that they code the matrix and the way that the loops are created. The 4th stage, the 4th kind. Am I fucking this up? No, the 4th kind is a horror sci-fi book. Never mind. I will go find it in a second. But you just wonder, like, if they created the interstate above, like, did they create the interstate below? I always talk about this, but just north of me, maybe like an hour and a half, is Mammoth Cave in Kentucky, which is like an entire, essentially underground city. Like literally the things that DARPA was calling for within that tweet are what is located in Mammoth Cave. Like there are atriums, there are auditoriums, there are classrooms. There's supposedly like 600 miles of some naturally occurring tunnels, and then they built stuff into it. I find to be completely fascinating. I've been meaning to go there for a great deal of time. I think it'd be fun to have a class trip there for people in the area. But also somebody was like, you shouldn't go underground with people you don't know just because mean people exist. I don't know. Anyways, some say that there's an entrance to Middle Earth in Mammoth Cave. If you are of the kind that partake in the Middle Earth discussion, a la Admiral Byrd. But if you know me, I think Middle Earth and spherical Earth and flat Earth are all possible at the same time. In the Riemann sphere. Royce Melbourne said, I heard that there are supposed to be a lot of DUMBs connected to golf courses or something. I have not heard that before, but I do find that interesting. Supposedly there are ones connected to Walmart as well. If you're from East Tennessee, you're familiar with there's a great deal of sinkholes out there. I don't know. I have an uncle on my father's side that I believe was a contractor in some deep underground military bases. It's at least what a story like my mom tells. He has passed away now, so I couldn't ask him about it. But I am going to interview my mom for the podcast, which should be hella interesting. She is widowed, and then her boyfriend died over the summer from what we consider a vaccine injury. And she's finally waking up. She wants to make her own podcast about dating in her 60s. And I think she thinks I'm going to set it all up for her. But she was a hygienist for 20 years. And like we've never talked about like fluoride or wisdom teeth or anything like that. So I said, if you want to do a podcast, then you should play with me a little bit and see what you have to say. See how it feels. See how you like it. I got all this equipment over here to my left I'm looking at that I'm going to have to pack up. It's might be a white Christmas in Middle or East Tennessee this year. Ding ding ding. Anyways, I don't know. Like I have a very traditional, very, very traditional background in like how you're supposed to take care of your teeth and like the implications that your teeth can have on your health. Like I've always been aware that like plaque and gingivitis and all these sorts of things can like cause issues that like affect the rest of your body and your heart. But then I also want to be like, Mom, like, what do you think about oil pulling or fluoride in general or wisdom teeth? Like, do we have any conspiracies on wisdom teeth that I could brush up on ahead of the weekend? I think it would also be interesting just to get perspective from her, someone older than me, about like conspiracy theories growing up. Like, were there any, like, I don't know. Like, did you ever think that Kubrick was behind the moon? Did you question the moon landing at all? Did 9/11 feel off? Did you ever question anything? I don't know. It'll be a whole thing. I'll ask her some questions about what it's like to raise someone like me. Even though I was an angel baby. So scared of getting in trouble. That was so attractive. Sorry, guys. Just a good girl, you know? I don't know, like, Mechanism Malfunction says that I feel like 9/11 should have been our parents' awakening, like COVID was for ours in a sense. And I agree with you. But I don't know, I just wonder all the things that we see now. Like, I just wonder what it was like in 2001. What, I mean, even now, the last time that I was at home, I was in like my mom's bathroom getting ready, and like her bedroom door was open and she had some sort of like good morning show on, like a Saturday morning talk show or Sunday morning talk show type thing. Maybe Good Morning America, I don't know. And I listened to it and it talked about NASA, it talked about Mars, it talked about the Royals, it talked about COVID, it talked about it coming back, about getting your flu shot. It was literally just like every single tiny bit of propaganda that like they stuffed all of it into this, like, 60-second, like, it was just like, wow, I was like, "This is the biggest amount of propaganda I've ever heard at one time, like, you've got to stop watching this." She was like, "Well, I like to see the shopping and I like to hear the gossip," and I'm like, "This is literal propaganda. Turn this shit off." Okay. OH said Y2K should have been an awakening. I'm like, let's talk about Y2K right now. I gotta tell you, I was obsessed with Y2K. I was spending probably far too much time on the internet as a child in places I should not have been, but I, like, was all into the idea of Y2K and that the cords that were in the ocean, that those little computer chips did not know how to go past 1999, and that they weren't gonna switch over to the 2.0, and it was gonna switch to 1901, and they weren't going to know what to do, and the grid was gonna go down, and the internet was gonna go down, and it was just going to be chaos. Like, I wish I had adult memories of that time, because obviously I just have them from my child perspective, but I was, like, very much wanted to be, like, a hacker back then, and this was, 4th grade, 5th grade, something like that. Anyways, Y2K, what a time to be alive. It, my dad was managing a golf course, like, they're dining at that time, and he got to live in, like, the staff quarters. And so I had, like, all these girlfriends to the golf course, and it was closed, and we got to, like, go into the ballroom and have glitter and just, like, throw it up in the air as we, like, literally, we, like, counted down waiting for, like, the lights to go off, but they didn't. What a time to be alive. Oh, Y2K. Like, that's what I like, I wanna get some adult perspective on that. Perhaps my mother isn't the best one for that, but I just wanna see what she has to say about kinda, like, those big things that, like, we look back at now. I don't know. That's what I wonder, like, was nobody awake? Not nobody, what am I saying? Most people were not awake, and then they experience a true false flag like 9/11. I just have clear memories of my teachers at that time, like, shielding us from what had happened in, like, part of the moment, but, also just, like, crying and bawling their eyes out. And there's so much loosh, there's so much emotion to certain false flags, to certain psyops, and so by triggering that emotion in them, I don't know, like, I think that's obviously part of the psychology behind something like this, so that, like, you don't question it because it's so sad. They try to make it objectively seem so sad that, how could you ever be so perverse to, like, question something so tragic? Kinda like, a la Sandy Hook and, Alex Jones. Yeah, what was Y2K distracting? What was happening then? I don't know. Party like it's 1999. I say this all the time, but I'm gonna say it again. I don't have any New Year's plans yet, but, like, New Year's is, like, my favorite holiday, and I always believe in it, and, like, one day it's gonna be the one that I've always wanted. So, I had that mystique for Y2K too. Like, do you remember, I think about different types of kinda, like, propaganda and programming that we went through, and just because we're talking about schools right now, I and somebody said talking about being in 1st grade and wheeling in the little TV cart to watch the news when the plane hit. Do you remember, like, earthquake, protocol and, tornado protocol, where they would have you go out into the hall and, like, kneel down and take your book, like, this is supposed to be your book, and put it on your spine because, like, that that social studies book, they always made you get like your thickest book too. That social studies book was going to like prevent the cement block from like severing your spinal cord in the event of like an earthquake or tornado. I don't know. I just what was that? Like, is that really part of like somebody's insurance protocol that like we have to go through that? As if we would have enough notice before an earthquake to like make sure we all perfectly line ourselves up in the hallway with our social studies books on our back. I don't know. School is just it's such an indoctrination when you think about it. And I know that you have, but the way that we transition from like being in school to prepping you for the 9 to 5, like they give you just a little bit of freedom in college, the time of your life. Go out, get buck wild, learn a little something, and then we'll give you a 4-year break if you take it. If you take it and take all that debt, and then you go right back to that little 9 to 5. It's what a psyop. What a perfectly laid little plan. Smart Rockefellers. Do you think the Rockefellers really were the Rockefellers, or do you think the Rockefellers are just like an analogy for the like some sort of other being that like if this is really a prison planet and we used to mine gold for those interdimensional beings and now they just harvest us for our loosh? I don't know where I was going with this. Do you know what I do think is happening that I'm tired of? Okay, we're about to talk about it. It's Kate Spade. It's Pizzagate. It's all that. But I tried to make a TikTok this weekend. Because here's the thing, like, I can't look like a dog when I do this shit. Because if I put it on TikTok, like, those people are mean. And I don't really have many feelings left, but I don't know. So I got to, like, put forth my best effort. But I don't know. Like, this is so easy. Instagram stories are a little cringe, but they're getting easier. But man, making a TikTok. Shoo-wee. Shoo. It was not good. I might post my like first draft just so you guys can roast me a little bit. I just felt like the most awkward turtle in the entire world. Ever. Ever. Forever. But at the same time, this one bitch took one of my posts and just like screen recorded it and then read it verbatim and had like 600,000 views. And she didn't contribute anything. Can't keep doing this. I need to have those views, but I have like maybe I'll just put a mask on again. It'd be so much nicer. Anyways, why German said, I'll proofread and nicely roast you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Anyways, Kate Spade, this dumb bitch, this dumb brand. I saw this advertisement. Okay. It's a pizza purse, which in all entirety is, if you're a fashion girly like me, she's attempting to and I talk about she as if she's fucking alive. I'm sorry. Kate Spade, the brand, is attempting to knock off Judith Lieber with this rhinestone bag. And it's a fucking pizza. And like Kate Spade, Anthony Bourdain, Loren Scott, Chris Cornell, Chester Bennington, Robin Williams, the Queen of the Netherlands sister. Why can't we put her fucking name on this tweet? Alexander McQueen, Aaron Schwartz, Michael Hutchins, David Carradine, and Avicii. All of those people took a red scarf and hung themselves on a doorknob. Like, do you know how I don't even wanna think about it, but I find that to be, like, probably difficult to accomplish, not like the, easiest way to fucking kill yourself per se, like, at that angle, at that, like, level, I don't know. Uh, but what is further interesting is that most of these people, Anthony Bourdain, Chester Bennington, Chris Cornell, Avicii, Kate Spade, all of these suicides were people who had been involved with Hillary Clinton, or people that had been involved in Haiti, that had gone there, oops, shit, and, participated and either, like, they spent time in Haiti with the Clinton Foundation, they, volunteered in some way. I don't know about you guys. I see those tweets. Like, this is where, like, the deep not necessarily deep fakes, but it's just, like, hard to discern, like, what's real and not real, obviously on a multitude of levels, but just in, like, tweets and shit like that of, like, what existed and didn't exist. I've seen a multitude of times some sort of tweets that are suggested to be Anthony Bourdain's that relate to some sort of Clinton reference he made, some sort of trafficking reference he made allegedly before he died. I don't know if those are real or not, but you cannot deny that these people were connected to Clinton, were connected to Haiti, probably saw some of the trafficking that occurred there, and then all magically got arc-incited and hung themselves with red scarves on doorknobs. If we want to take it down the Q Avenue, this is when I would say Q was still Q and had not been infiltrated by the Watkins yet. So this is a Q post from June 10th, 2018. Q states, track all suicides, think Spade, trace to the Children's Foundation of New York, trace the importing export there, trace from China, Mexico to Long Beach, trace the sale and spin off of the company, trace to CF. I can't remember what that stands for now. Trace to the port. Back then, Q was making a great deal of references at this time because Kate Spade died in May of 2018. So this was in June of 2018 that human trafficking was connected to ports. And Q was proffering that like certain ports had been shut down and that there were these like trafficking hubs that had been shut down. But then goes on to say like an HRC Hussein connection, expect a lot more. And then what even made it weirder, oh, hold on. This is some more information. This is what this was on 4chan. Spade partnered with the Clinton Foundation on at least 2 major projects. The designer had helped operate a media campaign for the Clinton Foundation's No Ceiling initiative. She had also worked with the Clintons in Haiti, sending representatives to deal with Haitian business owners on Clinton's behalf. A Clinton Foundation report from 2016 read, "The Clinton Foundation Haiti initiative works to encourage economic growth, support small businesses, and empower girls and women in Haiti by helping Haitian businesses develop skills, facilitate investments, and connect with international partners." Blah, 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 blah. After she died, her husband, and now obviously I get it. Like, if somebody died and you were in the public eye, I could see perhaps wearing a mask, maybe just like this type of mask these days, but like he came out in like a mouse mask. And it was really creepy and like shared some very like strange photos in the wake of her death. Um all of that to say like maybe I don't want to go there yet. At some point, we should have a discussion. Like, there are a great deal of blind items that were coming out of Crazy Days and Nights at this time that were connecting Epstein, the island, lots of allegations of adoptions that were supposed to be occurring with Haitian children that were really trafficking that was occurring. I also think a great deal of organ trafficking occurs that nobody talks about. But terrible, terrible things, I think, happened in Haiti at the behest of the Clinton crime family. Now, all of that to say, I just find this by Kate Spade making this like Judith Lieber inspired pizza purse in the context of all of that stuff for this to be the picture in which you are advertising on Instagram, like this is a sponsored post, this feels too on the nose for me. I think Pizzagate is a never-ending rabbit hole. I think that adrenochrome is a never-ending rabbit hole. I think that the Clintons' involvement could be a never-ending rabbit hole. That like this, I say this sometimes, so when I repeat myself, I'm sorry, but I just got to say it again. Think of a 1,000-piece puzzle and then think about removing 30% of that from all over and then throwing the pieces of the puzzle out into the world. I think we have an incomplete puzzle, and I think an incomplete puzzle is a never-ending rabbit hole where we can like line everything up and make all these connections, all these quantum connections, and the way that like Q did like not trick, expand our brains to like think in this quantum connection type of way, but to like be coming back around on Pizzagate for me is just way too on the nose. I feel like these incomplete puzzles are never-ending rabbit holes. I think that they're bringing Trump versus Clinton back up again for 2024, and to come back around to like Pizzagate references on Kate Spade items in the wake of her death as it relates to all of these different people seems so damn on the nose. Oh, wait, Q is posting now at the same time. It's just all these little tiny breadcrumbs of look, astrology, of look, loops. This like loop coming fucking back around again. Every 4 years, we're already on this presidential loop. It always happens. And now we're throwing like Clinton back in, Trump back in, Pizzagate back in, QAnon back in. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Tisk, tisk, tisk. It just all seems like fodder for the masses. Like, throw it out there, throw the puzzle pieces out into the world, like, let them chew on it. They're never going to figure out the answer to the equation because you never could. Like, we're trying to answer a question that was like never asked. You know, we're trying to find the answer to a game or an answer to like a riddle that doesn't exist, or like we're trying to like complete a game that doesn't exist. And they all kind of like laugh as we do it instead of, you know, deciding how we can like pinky in the brain take over the world. You know what I mean? Damn, we've already been on here for an hour and a half. We didn't even like talk 47 shit. Well, I'm definitely going to do a giveaway. I think I'm going to do a PSYOP hat, one of the last ones of the first batch that exist. So a black PSYOP hat, a 3 sticker pack, I think will be like the ultimate grand prize. I don't know if anybody would be interested in it, but I would like, if you wanted to like hang out with me, make that like a prize. I don't know. Maybe not. But a hat, a sticker pack, and then maybe like 5 sticker packs after that. So there'll be like 6 winners. But I'm going to do a post about it tomorrow. I hope that you will participate and play. And yeah, it'll be fun. Celebrating 47K, baby. Hey, baby. Okay. We've talked a lot of nonsense. Is there any other nonsense that you would like to discuss tonight? I gotta fix my earrings. Hold on, they're hurting me. Oh. I just make the best fucking faces on here, don't I? Ooh, Peyton looked back at me. He was like, "You're taking your headphones off. That means we're done." Sorry, dearest baby bunny. Only a couple more minutes, perhaps. I always say that on these, and then we talk for like 30 more minutes. Anyways, what are you doing for Christmas? What are you doing for New Year's Eve? Are we doing resolutions? Are we going to do dry January, both alcohol and weed? I don't know. I really want to try it. I think, forget how much weed helps me sleep. So I could, like, be here guns a-blazing with you, like, December 31st, like, "Yeah, tomorrow we're waking up and we're not drinking or smoking for a month." But, like, what if I can't sleep? So I don't know. Maybe we should just take it, like, a week at a time. Like we're hoping for 30 days, but we're just gonna do 7 at a time. I don't know. I don't know. I used to be really strange, and I didn't want to be a ventriloquist, but I was just kind of obsessed with ventriloquism. Did you guys ever see the movie When a Stranger Calls? When a Stranger Calls Back? It was like a murder thing about ventriloquism. Anyways, we used to try to make movies when we were young. We always tried to remake When a Stranger Calls Back. So I just like to do this from time to time. Anyways, I'm being so strange. Sorry. When is the next in-person gathering? Well, my friends, tell me what weekend you would like it to be, because I need there to be a decent response. Looking at the weekends in January, I will not be in town the weekend of the 14th, 15th, but I think the 21st, 22nd would be a great weekend. I think the 28th, 29th would be a great weekend. I don't really know what to do with you, if you want me to be honest, because last time I tried to rent a house and we got kicked out of it. And I guess it depends on the number of people coming. Ideally, in a perfect world, we would like go hang out outside somewhere and decide what to do next, but it's cold AF in Nashville. So I don't know that we would be able to meet outside, but it would depend on the number of people that are coming. If you're interested in coming, please slide into my DMs and let me know so I can add you to a list. And yeah, maybe we'll do an in-person meeting. Maybe I'll meet the love of my life there. Maybe he's just waiting for this moment. Just kidding. I mean, I'm not kidding, but you never know. You never know. I have absolutely no luck in love these days. Maybe in 2023. Maybe, baby. Lawrence, I agree with you on the restaurant or the happy hour. If that's like 20 people, that's not too bad. If that was like 50 people, that would be different. So we just got to see what the vibe is and go from there. I had this like really grand, I thought like 100 people were coming last time, and I was very humbled when it wasn't that many, but it also couldn't have been that many. The party would have never worked. It was perfect the way that it was, but most definitely a learning experience, one where I should not be shelling out lots of money like I did. Oh, Schwell. Oh, somebody said, is the way that PSYOP is written meant to look like 777 in a mirror? No, it's not, but I find that cool as fuck. Did you see on my stories that I got the tattoo of 777 on my neck? I don't know if I can like I don't know if you could see it, but I did. That's the funny thing about my 2 tattoos that I have, that I can't see them. I have the 777 on the back of my neck, and then I have a butterfly behind my, or excuse me, a dove behind my ear, because my stepdad who died, he used to say that he had a little dove that followed him around. So now I have a little dove that follows me around. But that's the one funny thing about my tattoos is that I don't even remember that they're there because I can't see them. Anyways, this wasn't supposed to look like 777, but it's fucking cool that it does. And I wish I could explain all of my connection to it, but I can't just yet. Maybe one day. There's so much like unintentional connection to 777 that I didn't even realize when I picked it. It's funny. And like the continuity that is Maria, like I had my cake day on Reddit or not recently, like a day or two ago. And it was my 5-year cake day. And there I am, mymaria777. And I think that was the first thing I ever created was that. I wish I could tell you something like very scandalous about my name, but I can't put that out here forever. Anyways, I can't say that. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a tease. I'm not. Anyway, 777 is fucking cool. And one day I can tell you how cool it is. I didn't even know how cool it was when I picked it. But like that has 2 7s. My email has 4 7s. Then I have the 47. It's just a whole fucking thing. No fucking continuity when I was picking all the things, but ain't that the way it goes, you know? We made it this far. I guess I should finally take a hit of my little bitty. I just feel like I don't get high anymore. Do you guys play with mirrors? I have a whole theory on how like life is almost like a hall of mirrors. And I can get into some like physics shit here, but I don't necessarily know that I want to. Maybe we should come back to it. Anyways, was it the Aztecs or the Mayans? Which one of them did not like the idea of having your picture taken? So if we subscribe to the D-wave experiment and we acknowledge that a particle acts one way when it is observed and a different way when it is not observed, the way that the D-wave particle collapses, okay? So I'm going to throw a bunch of ideas at you and then kind of sum it up into my Hall of Mirrors discussion. So if we're aware of the D-wave and the particle acts one way when it's observed and a different way when it's not, and you think about synchronicity at times, like if I experience a synchronicity now where like I see 47 out there or I get some sort of, it doesn't have to be a number, it could be any sort of synchronicity. Like right now, when I send positive thoughts to Maria as she prepared to take the bar, and how anxious I felt that day, and how anxious I felt the day that I was waiting for my results. Like if everything is happening all at once, time is not linear, and I could affect another version of me in a different timeline, like could that positive thought, that positive vibration, that like positive frequency then travel through the string theory of it all to the past me if it's all happening at one time? And so if I were to see a synchronicity then, like it's an effect of me having a positive thought now. And so the future me has positive thoughts of me in this moment and the situations that I'm going through now. And when I see a 47 or a 111 or a butterfly or whatever that may be, is that quantum synchronicity all happening at once? Can you change the past and the future, the present in that way? Okay. So if we go back to the idea of the picture, if I were to take a picture of me, Cheney, and human vibration at a sunset on a boat or on a pier, I have now frozen that moment in time. I have not only observed it for that moment, I have now observed those particles are now always observed in that way. So, like, does a picture do videos preserve an observation of a particle in a way so that it's no longer malleable in the way that reality was before? So, like, by capturing the light in that way, do you observe the particle? Do you observe the moment so that it could not be changed in the future? So then, if you were to take all of those ideas and think of your life in this kind of hall of mirrors, and then if I were to take a Harry Potter reference and how, like, when there's a framed picture, like, the picture moves and is almost like a movie in a way. So if you live your life in your own hall of mirrors, always thinking about the one who could have been, like, always thinking of the job, whatever, like, not living in the moment, thinking of a different point of reference, thinking of a lost, like a dead loved one in some way. Like, if you're always walking down the hall of mirrors, observing the way that it was, like, you live in that kinda like, you don't ever live to, like, change anything in the future. Um, so, like, do we, obsess about things? And, like, if I obsess about a guy in a way and I just, like, go to my hall of mirrors and I live in the memory of him and observe that all the time, that's going to affect my reality and affect my future. I don't know. It's just a whole thing that, the observation in the mirror. It's an interesting theory. Hope that helps. It's better I articulated it better. It was a better discussion with HV. But you should go back. It's, definitely one of our good discussions. It's probably in the title. It's probably called Hall of Mirrors, but it would definitely be in the, episode description. I know my episode descriptions have been lacking as of late, but it requires me to do, like, a whole their full listen before I upload it, and I figured you just wanna hear it instead of me write an episode description, and then I don't write the episode description because I don't listen to it, and it's just a whole thing. Just please listen to everything that I say all the time. Why doesn't anyone do that for me? Oh, man. Did I say this part already? I can't remember. I think I did. How somebody called me a psychopath last week and told me I needed, professional help. I don't know. I find that, I like, everything I try to do these days is with positivity, and I find that to be, like, so lacking. Everyone seems very angry and very mean. I feel like I'm receiving that on, like, all ends lately, anger and meanness. And it just doesn't feel like that Christmas season. I don't know. I, uh I have this way that I treat life, and I feel like it's likely to my own detriment, obviously. Now, I traveled in 19 and 20 for Christmas. I didn't last year. I wish I had, and I wish that I was this year, but I'm trying to save some money. Um, I have this way about life where I enjoy it, don't get me wrong, I'm having the fucking time of my life, but there are just, like, certain things I don't participate in until like, I love Christmas. I believe in Christmas and, like, just, like, that magic. I know it's Satan and bullshit and pagan and bullshit and blah, 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 but I just still love the magic that is Christmas, and I buy Christmas ornaments every year for myself, and I have all of this stuff in storage of, like, my grandmother's stuff, but, like, until I have that house, I just don't care at all. So, like, I went and bought, like, really nice Christmas ornaments a couple weeks ago, and they were expensive, and they're gonna look great one day, but I, like, made the joke to my mom, like, I might like, maybe I'll have a Christmas tree within, like, the next 5 years, and so much of that is contingent upon, like, love for me, because I guess if I had somebody here, then I would put on a little show, you know, and, like, Susie House, make her the way that I would like. I guess that's my question to you, like, if you're by yourself, if you, aren't with anyone, like, do you participate? Like, I still love Christmas, but I don't care as much. I don't know. That's a mechanism malfunction said by the time that one day comes, you'll probably be over it. Yeah, but, like, I want to have the house where I have, like, 10 different Christmas trees in it, and they're all decorated differently. I have a little black Christmas tree. But I think a red one would be so much fun. I don't know. It's like I don't like to cook for myself, but if literally one of you were over at my house right now, I would put on for you. I would, like, try to show off. I would make you all the things that I could. It's, I don't know, does it just mean I, like, don't love myself whatsoever? I just don't care. Like, I want to care, but I just don't care about anything but my dog right now and, like, the possibility of love. Hmm. 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 I need a Maria/conspiracy theory themed tree. How fun would that be? I could That's what I should work on the next, like, year to make a little set of conspiracy theory Christmas ornaments. What would those include? This would be this is, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Morbid? You can't have a 9/11 on fire with, like, a man falling out of I was just thinking of, like, the man you guys have seen the theory. Like, if you take the man that fell out of the 9/11 towers, if, like, the picture was taken, if you extrapolate, like, the size that he is based on the windows, based on the dimensions, based on, like, everything scientifically, he would be 7 feet tall or, like, 7.5 feet tall. Human Vibration has done a theory on it. Anyways. Oh, the falling man, that's what it's called. The falling man would be a little bit of a morbid Christmas ornament. But, maybe I could do, like, a limited edition. Oh my god, the plane hitting the towers. Or, the Pentagon, just making it like a laser. Goodness gracious. I have a really cool idea about conspiracy theories, but I can't tell it to you because then somebody might do it. But, I just really need to date a venture capitalist that believes in me and lets me do a lot of things. I need somebody who will loan me some money and let me have complete creative design. Please. Please don't do this to me. Okay, just some more weird thoughts of mine. I'm going through my post. Did you watch the OA? Like, do you remember the movements of the OA and how they allowed people to, like, time hop and, like, jump into other, dimensions, into other timelines? And then how, like, the one woman who was, like, the traveler she had like the mechanisms that did it for her. But sometimes I wonder, like, I just think about those movements from the OA, and I think about all of the dancing that occurred on TikTok in 2019, 2020, and like the eve of it. All like, it's so cringeworthy to me to watch people dancing. But those, like, what was that one? All of those dances to me on TikTok had oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Renegade. That was one. Okay. The names of the dances like that remind me of Zoolander with like La Tigra. You know? Anyways, the dances, like, were they opening portals? Like, what was happening with all of that loosh? All of that vibration coming off of those dances and just like millions and millions of people doing La Tigra Renegade like over and over and over again. I don't have enough time right now because I got to go to bed because I have mediation tomorrow. But like we could talk about the whole other part of 9/11, and I think going to the Middle East and the weapons of mass destruction were really like the stargates that the United States was seizing from like Gaddafi and shit. So, were we opening up like portals and some sort of like Stargate technology with like all of this like dance loosh being like proffered to the world? Those are the weird things that I think about. But like if you think that I'm being like crazy as fuck right now, then like to whom and what were they channeling? Like, do you believe that those movements had no meaning? But like also, and it's not so much about this. I mean, it is about this, but I just think about it a lot because I love Lost and the electromagnetism. I just wonder often if like they are moving the island. If you watch Lost and like reality is the island, like could we just be bouncing back and forth between timelines? I don't know, but that's just little cracks of eggshells for you to think about. I don't even know anything about Fortnite, Calisoma, but you're telling me that they dance? Good to know. Fortnite also is required to pay $500 million to the FTC for violations. What are my prerequisites for dating? Honestly, I have no prerequisites. I have like preferences. Is that what you're asking? I would talk to anyone. Like I'm not like I think like a liberal mind or a liberal mindset would be tricky. But like is it one that I could like crack a little bit, or do you like truly believe in like socialism and communism, you know? So, I don't know if that answered your prerequisites. As far as like preferences, I like someone like tall, dark, and handsome who is funny, has a good sense of humor, thinks that I'm funny. I think I'm the funniest person alive. Actually, if I'm laughing, like that's all that matters. And if I make myself laugh, then I don't care. If you don't think I'm funny, something wrong with you. What else? I mean, I have things I would like, but really just an unvaccinated, tall, dark, and handsome, but tall, dark, and handsome. I don't need to say the but it right now. Good sense of humor, a decent job. I don't want to support your ass. That's the thing about like independent women now that I've seen this like said on TikTok a lot. Like at the end of the day, like I can take myself out for dinner. So if you're a gentleman who expects the woman to like pay or pay for part of it, we can take ourselves out to dinner. Why would I do it with you then? I don't know. I'm a good old Southern girl though. So I believe in a little chivalry. Not that I think that the man should pay for everything every time, because I'm also a bit of a modern woman, but I don't know. Most of the guys I've gone out with, I have made more money than, and that is just a weird dynamic for me. I also really haven't dated that much, to be completely honest. I had, like, major relationships in my life, and I was never like, I never got asked out on dates. I had a lot of guy friends, but, I don't know. I never got to date the way I wanted to. As I said, I was a good girl in college. I should have been a slut. Guy friends are my problem. I don't have any guy friends anymore. I literally have no friends. Just my, like, one girlfriend. I think women would like to see some, like, alpha energy. I am looking for the individual who would like to take care of me, but knows that I can take care of myself. So, you know, I appreciate certain gender roles, but I want to be your equal, but I also appreciate gender roles. And at the end of the day, like, I just wanna be like an Italian wife for someone and cook all the time. But, yeah. That's what Maria is looking for in a nutshell. I just wanna laugh and have fun and be, like, wild and crazy. I honestly don't know that I wanna have kids anymore, but, like, I would like to stay at home. I would also like to go out. Like, I'm a much of a hermit crab as much as I like to go out. I just like to listen to live music and travel a couple times a year and find the cheat code to the universe. That's it. Like, where do I just wanna find the input for Rosebud, you know? Where do I put that in? That would make my life so much easier. You know what I mean? What are you guys looking for? I find it so interesting to have a gay best friend. Like, Cheney is my gay best friend. She's my best friend who is gay, not just my gay best friend. But I love getting her perspective because it's like a little female, a little male, and she says things about what she finds attractive on a female that I have never heard a man say, and I would love to hear a man say. Like, she talks about, like, how women shouldn't be so skinny and, that, like, stretch marks are attractive on a woman on women, and, like, the way that certain, like, skin folds, it's just, like, she describes all of these very, like, sensual things. Don't think that we're, like, fucking, like, getting it on in that way, like, we're just, like, have these conversations with each other, and I'm like, I would love to hear a man tell me that, like, these type of things are attractive to them. Like, I guess I just have this, like, idea in my mind of what I think a man is attracted to, and I've had this discussion before, mostly on my stories a couple times within the last couple years about a lot of women, like, if we could delve literally into the entire, like, men are women, women are men in Hollywood, like, that whole trans part of it, and so, like, are there a great deal of women in Hollywood who are actually men that we women look up to, look to, and, like, and in a, like, I wanna look like that type of way. So, like, if Megan Fox is really a man, a biological man, and, like, I'm literally never going to be able to achieve certain things that she has on her body just because A, she's a man, and B, like, all the enhancements she's done to it. That, like, how perverse is it? How perverted is it for us to, like, think that I would want to look like Megan Fox and, like, to be a woman who wants that and to, like, change the way I look to look like Megan Fox when really she's just a man. Like, I think women think that you guys want this, like, 36, 24, 36 version, and Like, and that, I don't know. Men should be more vocal about what they like and what they're into, because it's very nice to hear things like outside that what I think everyone is attracted to. I don't know if this makes sense. I hope that it does. There's just like this picture I have shared before of like a 1950s woman, and like every single man, like all of you will be in my DMs and you're like, yes, I agree. Yes, I agree. This is what we find attractive. But I don't know. I've never been around the company of an individual who describes women in that way, like at that 1950s woman, or describes women in a way that like Cheney and Alex have to me, who are both lesbian women. Which is very interesting, I think. Tell your women. Tell them that you like the way they look. Because I am one of those people that you would just have to like, I don't know. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, I think this is it. It's been 2 hours. I'm here longer than I thought I would be. I've got to get ready for bed so I can settle this case tomorrow. But if you've reached this part of this live, of this podcast, if I decide to make it a podcast, I don't know. You are what I consider an elite member of the podcast, of the class, excuse me. And I ask you to show me that you listen to this podcast in solidarity for other members of the class by putting an emoji somewhere in the public sphere so that I can see. Obviously, I like it when you DM it to me. I really like it when you put it out there in public, because then that way other people are like, what does this emoji mean? Why is everyone doing it? Why do I not know what this means? I want to be part of this club. How do I join the class? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Okay. Let's take this old school, and I'm going to give you 2 emojis. I would like you to give me the floppy disk. Oh, I have to talk about something after this. Oh, don't leave me yet. Okay. Floppy disk or the burning heart, the heart that's on fire, because my heart is on fire. Okay? If you listen, do those emojis for me. Also, I would love it if you would listen, like, subscribe here on YouTube, on your podcast app. I would really love it if you left me a 5-star review and told me how much I meant to you and put some like text with it. Ooh, shoo! That would just make me so excited. Okay, I said floppy disk, and I need to go on a little mini rant. Sorry. Okay, this is going to be so obscure, but I've thought about it for literal years. And I just realized that I have the audience to ask this question. Okay. Take yourself back to, this might have been a DOS game. It might have been a game like whatever was the operating system after DOS. Okay. I have this distinct memory of this game, and it's a little rocket man, and like you're a spaceman, and it's very rudimentary, elementary graphics, and you just like do all sorts of different things, and you're in space, you're underwater. I don't know if this like rings any sort of bells for you. Will you please send me the name of the game? I'm really doing a terrible job at it, but like my mom remembers playing this game, and it's not like the traditional one that comes up when you Google it, because I've looked before. It's not Mario. It's like nothing like, it wasn't 64. This was on the computer. This was either a DOS game or a next level DOS. So either DOS or Windows 95. I think it was DOS though. But it was a little astronaut guy who had been in space or on a rocket, and it was, I don't know. I got to go back and look. Wasn't Lotus After DOS? I'm not sure. It was not Carmen Sandiego, but I fucking love Carmen Sandiego. Was it a cute astronaut alien dude? Maybe. Outcast? Maybe. But this game has haunted me my whole life, and I think about it all the time. Do I Google it all the time? No, but I do think about it a lot and wonder what it was called. Okay, we got like people are throwing names at me. Rocket Ranger. I don't think this is it. Oh, maybe. I have to look at this. Okay. No. Send me some names. Anyways, I'm going to figure it out. Carmen Sandiego. I loved Carmen Sandiego back in the day. It was almost kind of like some inspo for my character here. Okay. I am seeing Rocket Ranger, but that's not the character. So I will have to keep going through the rest of these. Commodore 64. What was the point of the game? I don't know. You were just a rocket man and you were. I really don't know. It was like he had landed on a new planet, maybe. I could be making shit up now. I'm just going to let it go. This is the worst description ever. So thank you for continuing to listen to me ramble on. Have you ever listened to the lyrics of Ramble On by Led Zeppelin? And there's a bunch of Lord of the Rings references. In the darkest depths of Mordor, I met a girl so fair, but Gollum, an evil one, crept up and leapt away with her. Lots of commentary on the ring. Yes, Led Zeppelin is satanic, but I don't know. How do you guys do that? You separate the art from the artist. Like, Led Zeppelin's my favorite band. I know every song, I know every lyric, and I love them. And I don't practice Satanism when I listen to them. So, like, where do you separate the intention? I don't know. But my stepdad was really into the Lord of the Rings, and I was really into the Lord of the Rings subsequently. Commander Keen, Math Blaster. All I want really in this life. Okay, this is another thing we can talk about very briefly, and then I gotta fucking go. Men out there, and I'm gonna bring this up again on a different podcast. Okay. You should never buy your lady a vacuum or a blender or an appliance or anything that's not like fun and cool or sexual as a gift. Let's be real, okay? There are certain things that I call a Tuesday gift. You know, if we need a new vacuum, that's just something you should bring home on a Tuesday. If we need a new blender, that's a Tuesday gift. Where was I fucking going with the Tuesday gift conversation? What was I just looking? Oh, now I remember. Okay. We're talking about video games. I'll pull it up. It's a favorite, I think, on this phone. I just am looking. You guys want to know what I'm looking for in a man? I want a man who wants to have a basement like me and have games there because I want to have a poker table and have game night with my best friend and my brother like we do. But I want to have some games down there, and there's 2 games that I want in this world. One of them is an Addams Family pinball machine, which is like one of the rarest pinball machines that exist, but I still want it. But I always wonder, do you remember this arcade game? Because I feel like I'm the only one in the world that does, and it was one of my favorites, and I just want a man to come home on a Tuesday with the Addams Family pinball machine or this off-road game. Do you guys remember it? It's literally like driving my Bronco now, you know, where you gotta steer and you gotta stare. My Bronco's not that bad. But this was one of those games that, like, my brother and my stepsister at the time that I don't talk to anymore, fuck you, this is like you would literally just, like, throw the steering wheel in one direction, and off-road was the fucking tits. And I just want somebody, this is $6,000, to bring this home for me on a Tuesday. This would be a great Tuesday gift. Okay, this would actually be a great normal gift, like birthday or, Christmas or anniversary. Tuesday gift would be like a vacuum. Don't ever bring your wife a Tuesday gift as a birthday gift. And bring flowers home more often, you know? Do it. Club going up on a fucking Tuesday, Outcast. Bring your wife some flowers, and I bet you would get so many more blowjobs than you do now. Oh, mercy. Mercy, mercy. Okay. It's been real. It's been fun. I gotta go, or I could talk here all night long. So, thanks for hanging out with me. Be on the lookout for, no, OOH. I'm saying an air fryer is a perfect Tuesday gift, but that better not be your fucking Christmas gift for her. No sirree, Bob. Anyways, thanks for listening to this live. Thanks for listening to me when I'm literally all over the place. My ADD thanks you. I love you guys. Thank you for 47,000 followers. Thank you for listening to my crazy rambles. You guys are the best. Remember the floppy disk and the burning heart of flames somewhere out in the public. If you haven't already signed up for my email list on mymaria777.com, hope you have a great night. I love you the most. Thanks for hanging out.